welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Hope you're having a fantastic day and getting to enjoy the holiday weekend. Shout out to the 19 cousins. Oh man. And by the way, I also want to give a shout out to the Ben Daniel podcast. He mentioned my channel on a video that he did yesterday, I think, which was greatly appreciated. I know a lot of people came into the comments and mentioned that, which was amazing. Thank you so much. It also happened to be something else I want to give him a shout out for. His first video of over 100,000 views. Absolutely incredible. Congratulations to him because I know he does a lot of hard work. I think his channel's great. Um, and lucky for me that he shouted me out in his most viewed video. So that was kind of cool. But if you don't know Ben and you haven't checked out his stuff, go to the Ben Daniel podcast and check it out. I know there is a lot of crossover. I had somebody about a month ago in the comments said, "Hey, have you checked out the Ben Daniel podcast? I think you'd really like it. You guys do some similar stuff." He said, I would call Ben the R-rated version to your PG-13 or something like that, which I thought was pretty funny because yeah, Ben can drop some words. But it's really good. So I think you ought to go check it out. Where is what I wanted to show you? Oh, before we dig in, because it's kind of related, I just wanted to run these numbers down to you really quick. Caitlin Clark in the last 5 games, 24 points, 8.8 assists, 5 rebounds, 1.2 steals, shooting 40.8% from three, 57.6% from two, and of course 91.7% from the free throw line, which is no surprise. And now we are going to dig in to Lisa Leslie's comment yesterday. By the way, I know Ben, it might even already be up. I know Ben's doing a video on this. I think he did it last night because the two of us were going back and forth on this because it really ticked us both off on multiple levels. So let's dig into this Lisa Leslie tweet. I don't care what comparisons you make, both Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark deserve the Rookie of the Year award. The pressure and the weight of this season has forever changed the WNBA, and both rookies rose to the top and exceeded all our expectations. Take a bow, ladies. Now, look, nothing against Lisa Leslie. And look, this sounds great off the top of your head if you don't think about it too much. But if you do, oh my lord, this really ticks me off. I cannot stand this mentality. I think it's terrible. I think it sends the wrong lessons to kids, let alone in a professional sport, because you're going to get all up in your feels and you don't want anybody to feel bad. So we've got to give the award to everybody. Which separate from the fact that, let me back up 1 second. Let's not look over the fact that many people are doing this because they want so badly for the Rookie of the Year to be Angel Reese, and they've been gaslighting everybody all season long into thinking there's even anywhere close to a competition, because there is not. There never has been. And now that everyone is starting to see how far apart they really are after the tough start that the Fever had, the ones that aren't completely brain dead are stepping back from the Rookie of the Year as Angel Reese to, well, it's so close. How about Rookie of the Year? How about we give them both the award? And that way everybody's happy. Well, guess what, folks? This is a professional sport. This is a competition. They're not supposed to all be made happy. That's not how it works. And look, to be fair to Lisa Leslie, the WNBA, this is what she's been marinating in. She had a long WNBA career. She was a great player in the WNBA, Hall of Famer. But let's be real, the WNBA exists because they get money, millions of dollars every single year for 28 years from the NBA. That is the only way they exist. It is about participation for them. They haven't had to earn anything. They have been existing off of NBA money. They haven't had to go out and compete for the time and the dollars, both limited, of sports fans. They don't need to sell tickets, pack arenas, get people to watch on TV because the NBA will allow them to exist without doing that. They don't have to be good. They don't have to compete for eyeballs and dollars. Absolutely and utterly ridiculous. You've got people like Gilbert Arenas who are saying they're co-rookie of the year, and they're not the only ones. So you've got all these people changing their tune now. The everybody at ESPN. I'll say that I was going to shout out names like Monica McNutt and of course Cheryl Swoops. She probably won't ever even say co-rookie of the year. She's still going to say it is Angel Reese, even though Caitlin Clark is an all first team WNBA player. She is the best point guard in the WNBA. She is a legit, as I've been saying now for 2 months, a legit MVP contender. By the way, check out how the Las Vegas Aces are doing. We're going to get into that in another video. Well, let's look at some of these comments below. People are not buying this. Even I say, all respect for Lisa just went out the window. Terrible take. They aren't in the same universe. Lisa, we have a lot of respect for you, but let's be serious for a second. I love your outlook, and I loved you as a player also. With that being said, please limit your comments to accounts you follow because there's a fan base that won't agree with you. Oh, gee, I wonder what that's all about. I wonder what fan base won't agree. Oh, maybe the one that knows that their player is the deserving player. No decent person would agree with this horrible take. That's me. That's in response to this, not to Lisa's. Nah, you be having good takes, but this was a terrible one, like really bad. You got one player that's all WNBA first team, and the other is a role player. Yes, that's the phrase I've been using lately. That's what she is. She is a role player that brings no winning basketball to the team. Stop it. Nah, this isn't a consolation prize. May the best rookie win. That's how it is meant to be. This isn't particularly close, but the media has really tried to portray it as such. Just disrespectful to what Clark is doing. Lost all respect for Leslie today. Clark leads Reese in every stat category except rebounding. Clark leads the whole WNBA in points scored and assisted on points by a wide margin. Reese leads the WNBA with the worst shooting percentage inside 6 feet. And by the way, she also leads the league in getting shots blocked. Head to head, absolutely dominant. Everything is Clark except rebounds, which makes sense considering Clark's a point guard and Reese never leaves more than 4 feet away from the basket. We as a society need to stop coddling. We need to stop giving out participation trophies. These are two adults, and Caitlin has outperformed Reese by a large margin. I mean, come on, Caitlin is third in the MVP race. What message are we giving to younger generations? Stop it. I love that comment so much. 100% agree. There's nothing good about giving participation trophies. Jason took it to another area, which sadly I think there is some of this too. This level of skin color tribalism is sad and disappointing. An elite rebounder versus an elite basketball player. Delete this tweet. How are you all including Reese just because of one category, rebounds, when Caitlin is dominating almost every other stat? Plus, she's leading her team to a 6 seed playoff spot. Afraid of media backlash if you admit it's Caitlin Clark. Ridiculous. 100%. Now, remember, before we move the goalpost to, oh, they should be co, We got a lot of that because at the time the Fever didn't start off well. Chicago Sky had a better record for basically up until the Olympic break. But now we see that Indiana is 17-6. They are currently on a league high 4-game winning streak. They have a tied for the league best 8-2 over their past 10 with Minnesota and New York. While Chicago is 11-21 and they have lost 6 straight games. The Fever are 6-1 since the All-Star break. They've already won 4 more games than last year. The Sky are a complete mess. They are imploding. There's infighting. People are tired of the fraudulent double doubles where most of the stuff is picked up in garbage time, folks. And again, just show this one once again. Now, I left these numbers as they had before just to see how insane her season's becoming. Back when I put in 497 points, 161 rebounds, 232 assists. I did this when she broke the record. 39 steals and 24 blocks. She was number 1 when she had those numbers. I put in her numbers. Look what those numbers already are with 7 games still left. 617 points, 186 rebounds, 276 assists, 45 steals, and 26 blocks. No one has come close to having the all-around season that Caitlin Clark is having. But we're going to sit here and do stupid crap like this and say, because feelings, we're going to give them both Rookie of the Year. Why Angel? Why stop there? I mean, if you're going to say Angel Reese deserves it in relation to Caitlin Clark, why don't you give it to all of them? Oh, and by the way, while we're talking about this nonsense, why don't you make Asia Wilson and Caitlin Clark co-MVPs? Right? I mean, why not? What is the difference? Caitlin Clark, you can actually make a case for Caitlin Clark as MVP, a legitimate case. And you can say at the end of that, yeah, it's Asia Wilson still, but you can make a case for Caitlin Clark. You cannot make a case for Angel Reese's Rookie of the Year in any way, shape, or form. It's just not there, folks. And to continue with this nonsense is utterly ridiculous. And I want to grab something here. Hold up one second. I thought I had it up. My bad. I want to show, or I want to read something to you that, and this is something I'd seen years ago when Ben and I were talking about the Lisa Leslie thing. He brought this up and sent me the screenshot, which is great. So I'm going to read this to you. This is from James Harrison, who was a great player for the Pittsburgh Steelers, now retired. And he talked about a story when his kids got participation trophies and said he was an old school parent, and he actually posted this. I believe there's an interview as well, but he posted this where he said, "I came home to find out that my boys received 2 trophies for nothing, participation trophies. While I am very proud of my boys for everything they do and will encourage them till the day I die, these trophies will be given back until they earn a real trophy. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Do you understand what he's saying? He's not sorry for believing that everything in life should be earned. And I'm not about to raise 2 boys to be men by making them believe that they are entitled to something just because they tried their best. Because sometimes your best is not enough. And that should drive you to want to do better, not cry and whine until somebody gives you something to shut you up and keep you happy. 100,000% in agreement. I mean, look, we're talking about, in this case, adults. We are talking about professional athletes, and you want to give them both the award because of your feelings, because of how you feel about it. We don't want anybody's feelings to get hurt. Look, I'm with James. I don't like it at the younger ages. Your kid does a sport and you want to get them something for their effort or what have you, go for it. But this participation trophy stuff is ridiculous. It kills competition. It kills competitiveness, and competition and competitive are not dirty words. I know they seem to be given that context in the last decade or so, but they are not. They are important. They what they're what fuel people to put in the effort. They're what fuel people to work for something. They're what fuel people to get better because they want to achieve. They want to compete. They want to improve. They want to be better than the competition. And when you make it me with all this participation nonsense, you create a sense of entitlement and straight up narcissism. These kids don't learn from mistakes because there are no consequences for mistakes because they're going to get a trophy anyway. And look, I'm not talking about actually making kids feel bad and punishing them for mistakes they make while playing a game. But when there are consequences in terms of you're losing the games, you're not getting a trophy because you didn't get first place, you discuss mistakes with your coach and you learn from those mistakes and you work on things in practice to get better so you don't keep making those mistakes. But guess what? You're not going to have the motivation to do that if you're handed a trophy, the same trophy that all the kids that worked really hard and actually achieved something get. It is a terrible thing to do to young kids. When I was coaching soccer, we went through this specifically where they didn't have a great season in terms of wins. I mean, every game was competitive. They played well, but they didn't get the wins. And anyone who's ever coached or played or even just watched enough, especially at the youth level, you know soccer, it's just one of those sports where you can dominate and still lose. And at the end of the season, we played at a couple of tournaments, a 3-game tournament one weekend, a 4-game tournament the next, and they were 8. And at that age, there is no tournament winner. There is just you play your games and everyone gets the same trophy from the tournament. And I can tell you this, and I was so happy about it after going undefeated twice, playing teams that were ahead of them in level during the regular season, blowing out everyone. The first game, they had a come from behind win, and then the next 6, they just blew everyone out. Everything that was not quite happening in the regular season, it all came together for them. Everything they had been working on, it all came together for them. Anyone who's ever coached has probably witnessed this with teams where it just doesn't seem like they're getting better. It doesn't seem like they're getting better, but they're working hard and they're learning, and all of a sudden it clicks and they take a jump. And that's what happened to them these 2 weekends, and they got nothing for it. They got no reward. They were told your what you did, what you achieved, what you worked for doesn't matter. We're giving the trophies to everybody. They didn't like it. And I don't blame them for not liking it. I think it's a terrible thing to do. It's a terrible message that is sent. My players were not happy. They didn't want this trophy that everyone else got. And man, and I get it. I get it 100%. I think this is shocking to me actually that we've got Lisa Leslie, a Hall of Famer, advocating for participation trophies in what is supposed to be a professional league. What's the next step? Everyone makes the all-star team? Maybe we don't keep score in the games anymore. They play anyway, and of course, as fans, we want them to play just as hard. and be just as entertaining, but we won't keep score, so there won't be a winner and loser, and they can go through the 40 games, and we'll just say they all have the same record, and then they all are WNBA champions. Does that make sense? Is that good? Think that'll work out well? You think we'll see some great competition? How do you think it would work if players could never be replaced? And we'll make it a little more realistic. How about we set an age cap, say 35? You come out of college, you make a team at 22, you're guaranteed that roster spot till you're 35. What do you think that'll do for the level of play? Think it'll skyrocket? Now, you'll get some players that won't like it, but eventually you get people that grew up with this. They make the team, and that's it. It's kind of like you see with some of these players when they get that first big guaranteed contract and then their production actually falls off a cliff. They have no incentive anymore. Oh man, I could go on this one for a long time. I probably talk too much as it is. My apologies. Hopefully you're still here. Hopefully you enjoyed the content. Let me know your thoughts below on two things. I have two questions for you. What do you think about this specifically with this whole moving of the goalposts with the rookie of the year stuff? And then also separate from this and just the bigger picture of what do you think about participation trophies and what they do both in athletics but also outside of athletics, because I think people take that away from the sport when you get that feeling of entitlement by being rewarded when you haven't actually produced what should get you that award. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I really do appreciate it, and I will talk to you later.